Welcome to the State of the County Address. My name is Heather Hage, and I'm so proud to serve as your Mistress of Ceremonies today. I'm what they call a Mohawk Valley boomeranger. So I was born and raised right here in Oneida County, in Utica and in New Hartford, to be exact. I went to college not too far away, right up the hill at Hamilton College. I got my JD a few more miles down the road at Albany Law School, and then I stuck around the Capital Region for almost 20 years. I was really blessed to serve as the lead for technology transfer and entrepreneurship for the SUNY system for about 17 years, and now I'm back home, right where I started, and really proud to be the second ever president and CEO of the Griffith Institute. So, thank you, sir. Okay. So the GI, if you're not familiar with us, we're a talent and technology accelerator for the Department of Defense. We work hand in hand with colleagues within Defense, in particular our own Air Force Research Laboratory Information Directorate, or Rome Lab, right here at home in Oneida County. We engage with over 200 colleges and universities every year to bring new opportunities to the next generation of talent that wants to drive technical solutions for national security. And we move technologies from the battlefield to the kitchen table. Fun facts: latex paint was invented right here in Oneida County at Rome Lab. The technology that powers Siri. So when you pick up your phone and say, "Hey Siri, navigate me to the price chopper," that's technology that was also developed at Rome Lab. Our STEM programs foster a new generation of scientists, mathematicians, engineers, and technologists here in the region. Our International Quantum Information Science Initiatives is part of a global connectivity program to bring an open innovation ecosystem of government, academic, and industry collaboration right here to Oneida County. And our brand new Hustle Defense Accelerator is an elite and immersive opportunity for seed stage startups to come here to Oneida County to work at Innovari Advancement Center to develop new technologies in AI, cyber, quantum, and UAS, all with the goal of elevating our community's economic competitiveness and pushing solutions for national security. And all of that happens at our Griffith Institute headquarters right here in Oneida County and right at the Innovari Advancement Center that our county executive has been so proud and engaged to lead for us. A state-of-the-art laboratory and innovation center that will be the home of some of the most cutting-edge research done in North America. And we would not have the opportunity to do any of these things, not any of it, without the vision, commitment, and support of Oneida County government. So thank you for that. But really, I'm excited to be here today because at our core, the Griffith Institute exists to empower our partners to innovate. And our county executive, Anthony J. Picente Jr., is certainly an innovator. In just a bit, County Executive Picente will outline a vision for Oneida County that will help all of us collectively to lead our region into the future. County Executive Picente is a thoughtful leader with a deep understanding of our county and its residents. And since he began this role in January 2007, he's always pushed us toward the new and innovative, has been a supporter and advocate for the Innovari Advancement Center, paved new ground with the 2013 agreement between the state, Oneida Indian Nation, and Oneida and Madison counties, and led Oneida County through the pandemic, opening up drive-through clinics and ensuring we had access to the health care we needed in our most challenging times. But today, we aren't here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the future. So to start things off, I'm humbled to introduce Sheriff Robert Maciel for the presentation of colors. At 18, Sheriff Maciel became a volunteer fireman. At 20, he took on his first public safety role as patrolman. And today, Robert Maciel is our sheriff. Over the years, he's worked tirelessly to improve our communities and take our law enforcement to the next level, and we're forever grateful for his service. So I'd ask you all to stand. Sheriff, I believe your team will present the colors. Please proceed. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Arm. Right face. Forward march.
Thank you all. You can please be seated. Now next, today we are joined by Reverend Paul Angelicchio, who spent many years on the pulpits of Syracuse before being assigned to St. John the Baptist Church in Rome. So Father, please come and lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Merciful and gracious God, thank you for the privilege and gift of prayer. We come here today to celebrate our great county. Give our leaders eyes to see, ears to hear, and open to a fresh vision that will have abundantly raise and help this county. Lord, this day we ask that you give us all prayers to be answered. Watch over our public service people, an extra measure of wisdom to all who are gathered here today. Give courage and abundance of grace to all those who have faithfully worked for this county, those who have been elected and appointed to be called to duty. We pray too this day in a special way for all those who lost their lives to the coronavirus. Lord Jesus, we ask you to give them eternal rest and be with their families. We pray too this day, because we know that all of us are instruments of peace. We pray for peace in our world, especially for the people of the Ukraine who are suffering an unjust war. We ask you to be with them and their families. So we ask you to bless us on this gathering, to make us all instruments of your peace. To our God and Father be glory forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Father. That was beautiful. Now, before I introduce our next speaker, we have a special message from the Oneida Indian Nation on video, so please take a look.
Our region was founded on partnerships. These partnerships began during the Revolutionary War, when the Oneida Indian Nation stood alongside American colonists in their battle for freedom. That spirit of collaboration has been at the foundation of every great success achieved by Oneida County. Since time immemorial, there has been a shared belief by the people of Oneida County to build a better home and community for our future generations. The Oneida Indian Nation believes that all things should be undertaken to the benefit of the seventh generation, ensuring our actions today create a better world for our children's grandchildren. When facing hard times, it is not enough to find a solution for today. We must look for answers that anticipate the demands of the future. Through the most challenging times in our county's history, that belief has helped us persevere. As Oneida County continues to grow and thrive, strong partnerships have been key to revitalizing this county. This shared commitment to strong partnerships and belief in building a better Oneida County for our future generations is what helped lay the groundwork for the historic settlement in 2013 between Oneida County, Madison County, the state of New York, and the Oneida Indian Nation.
I think people are really generally just really relieved in the sense that we can finally maybe look towards the future rather than keep looking at the past.
It is a partnership plan. It's about the future. And it's about stopping the divisiveness that has taken place over the years and then doing just what Ray had talked about growing jobs, but about growing a future for the community.
Since signing the historic settlement, Oneida County has received more than $125 million in settlement payments alone. These funds have been used to prevent property tax increases, fund local schools, support infrastructure and public services, increase public safety, boost arts and culture, help balance budgets,
we have been able to accomplish more in a short time that some communities don't accomplish in 50 years. And really, when you look at what that holds for the future, it really does open more doors than I can even think of.
Beyond the money that has been generated from the settlement, this agreement has created a new era of collaboration that's brought Oneida County to new heights.
That partnership is the key to the future of this entire region. It's not just about what happens here in Oneida County or Madison County, it's all of central New York.
There's more excitement than we've ever had here, and that only makes us more excited about our business and the opportunity we have to grow it right here in our backyard.
We have created a thriving tourism economy, bringing millions of visitors and billions of dollars in tourist spending.
When I drive home at night and I see on the horizon the new hospital being built, the Nexus Center coming on board, wow.
Thousands of jobs have been generated to encourage young people to build careers and raise families here in Oneida County.
Seeing all this positive energy and growth in the region that I'm rooted in and passionate about is really something special to be part of.
I'd actually never been to the region. I grew up in Queens and New Jersey, but I never traveled up here. So on my first visit here, I was actually amazed by the beauty of the area and the friendliness of the people I met.
Oneida County's been through a lot of positive times, a lot of challenging times, but through it all, what's kept us together is a sense of community and the leadership. It's a great place to raise your family, to put down roots. It's a community that's very giving and caring. When you see that your leaders care so very much about the area and are vested in it, it really makes you want to be just as vested and see things improve.
Our successes and the success of future generations rely on a spirit of collaboration and cooperation. Today, Oneida County is thriving, and the future no longer waits for us to act, to take initiative, to be bold and creative. Today, a commitment to the success of its communities, businesses, and residents has transformed Oneida County and ensures the promise of even better days for our future generations.
Today, the best is yet to come. There's more that we can do, and I know that we will, and there's more that we will do together. And my hope is the next generation looks at this and says, well, they got it right. They got us on a path, and here we go.
That was lovely. So before we get to the main event, we have one more speaker who I think will offer a few more words on the importance of collaboration and partnerships, as we just heard described in that video. So I'm honored to introduce to you Mr. Ray Halbritter as the Oneida Nation representative. Under Mr. Halbritter's leadership, the Oneida people have achieved an economic and cultural renaissance that has been hailed as a national model for success. He has created pacts with the federal government that recognize the Oneida's sovereignty for the first time in a century and returned more land to the nation's control than at any time since 1824. He forged relationships with state and county leaders, like County Executive Picente and others here in the room today, to reach a historic settlement agreement that brings millions of dollars to the region annually, as you've just heard in this video. He serves as the CEO of Oneida Nation Enterprises, one of the largest employers in our region, which includes so many of the destinations that have shaped our communities, like Turning Stone, YBR, Point Place, Sylvan Beach, Maple Leaf Market, and more. Since 2011, the Oneida Indian Nation has spent more than $468 million with Oneida County vendors and helped make Oneida County one of the top 10 counties in New York for tourism. I'm particularly excited about the designation of SCANA as a nation-leading spa, so thank you for that. We're so incredibly lucky to call Mr. Halbritter our partner in this region, so please join me in welcoming Oneida Indian Nation representative and Oneida Nation Enterprise CEO, Ray Halbritter.
Well, I feel a special relationship with Oneida County because if you notice their seal, I think there's a resemblance if I turn this hello. But Seguli, greetings everyone. Thank you, Heather, for that very nice introduction. The work you're doing at Griffiths Institute is truly inspiring. To the members of the Oneida County Legislature and all of the elected officials, business leaders and civic leaders here today, thank you for joining us. We are honored for you to be joining us here, and thank you for this important event, to be here with us. It's a historic day. Everything that we've done actually in recent years has been really historic. But it's a historic day for the state of New York and for Oneida County and our nation, the Oneida Nation. And it's the very first time that the State of the County address has ever been delivered on our homelands, the Oneida homelands here in New York. But to our friend, Tony Picente, historic firsts are nothing new. If you went through the list of all the historic firsts under your leadership, we would be here till dinner, which might not be such a bad idea. The food's really good. And we would have an amazing dinner. But we're grateful for Oneida County for hosting its State of the County address here on Oneida homelands. It provides a foundation for our collective success. I was recently interviewed for a Fox News documentary story, and the focus was untold stories. And untold stories about military events that happened in the past that not many of us know about, but we do know a little bit more about it here because this is where everything happened mostly in the Revolutionary War. And we went to Fort Stanwix and we went to Oriskany Battlefield. And that was a story we focused on Yeri, who was a Oneida warrior. In the picture you saw on the video, he was pictured in the painting that was done by Don Troiani, who was a military historical artist. And he was widely respected for his commitment to partnership and the courage he showed on the battlefields of the American Revolution on Yeri. He actually, in that battle, he had his wife with him and his son. How many people take their family to a battle? But in many ways, Oneida County and the Oneida Indian Nation continue to stand on battlefield together. While there is no gunfire, no cavalry attacking us, what is happening today in 2022 in Oneida County is also an untold story. It's an untold story about the revitalization of a county and a relationship and the partnership that is taking place between our communities and the seeds of progress that have been planted for our future generations. Our people are taught to think in terms of future generations. And that's what the leadership, that's what Oneida County Executive Tony Picente and the county leadership, why we're here. The main reasons why we have such these reasons to speak about this story. Since 2006, Tony Picente has led Oneida County's government. He has created a blueprint for effective leadership that puts people and results before politics. As a county executive, Tony has urged a greater efficiency in government. He's increased the county's credit rating and made public services more available and effective for residents, especially for vulnerable groups such as veterans, seniors, children, and those who need housing. There's a technological renaissance that is taking place here in Oneida County, attracting growing companies and fostering an environment of innovation in unmanned aerial systems, nanotechnology, and cybersecurity. Oneida County has also experienced an incredible boom in its tourism economy. As Oneida County's largest employer, our ability to make investments in the region and in our workforce requires a strong partner in government. And often people you don't always see the value in relationships because you can't necessarily put a number to it. Certain things you can put numbers to, but the relationships and what they result in, the benefit to the regions, very often are intangible, but yet they're real, and it makes a tremendous difference. And through our partnership, we've increased economic opportunities for people in this region and helped make it possible to build a lifelong career here. Foundation Foundational to all of this success is the county executive's commitment to forming partnerships and relationships that connect local government, businesses, educational institutions, and community organizations, and of course, tribal nations. Tony understands that when we all work together, the impossible is made possible. There is a Native American proverb that states one finger cannot lift many pebbles. An entire hand is needed to do that. We know this is true. Achieving great things requires many hands and many minds. That is why we're so proud of the strong partnership that exists between our nation and Oneida County government today. Upon taking office, Tony Picente understood that continued disputes between the communities of this county and the nation benefited no one. He had the vision to see a brighter future in which everyone worked together for the benefit of all. The historic settlement referenced in the video that we just watched ensured Oneida County and the Oneida Nation would be bound together and work together, and our destinies would be linked forever together. Today, Oneida County and the Oneida Nation have a symbiotic relationship. As the nation does well, Oneida County does well, and vice versa. Just look at what is taking place in Sylvan Beach. The Oneida Nation has made the largest investments in the history of that community. In 2020, we opened the lake house at Sylvan Beach. We brought Maple Leaf Market to Sylvan Beach, and this for the first time, the Cove at Sylvan Beach, a $35 million investment rental destination on Oneida Lake. We are revitalizing this county together. These investments would not be possible if we would not have the partnership that we have today. These investments are creating jobs, supporting businesses, supporting local businesses, and increasing property values, making us the four-season destination we know Oneida County provides. All of this progress has transformed Oneida County and will continue to transform our region into a more transparent region for a place for people to live and who come here to join in our success. And all of this is our untold story. We are thankful for this partnership. We are thankful for everything the county executive has done to pave the way to a more prosperous future for all of us. Thank you again for coming together to this special event. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our good friend and our partner, Oneida County Executive Tony Picente.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is such a great pleasure to be with all of you today. And when we talk about being here, first off, let's give a great round of applause to the staff here at Shenandoah for the great lunch. And certainly when I want to, if you indulge me as I recognize some of our partners today in this government and some people here this afternoon. First off, the county workforce, the best workforce in the state of New York. They work hard each and every day for the people of this community, tirelessly working with so many people, and it's shown really over the last couple of years. So I want to thank all of them for their cooperation. I am very fortunate to be able to work with elected officials in this community, and in particular in county government, the Oneida County Board of Legislators, for which many are here today, and so many to introduce, but I would like to acknowledge them and thank them and their leader, my good friend and someone who I work hand in hand with, who I couldn't do this without, Chairman of the Board, Jerry Fiorini, and the Board of Legislators. Where's the legislators? Legislators, please stand. Please stand. Thank you. I'm also joined, I also have the privilege of working with 4 elected officials that serve the county with me. 2 of them could not be with us today, the District Attorney Scott McNamara and County Clerk Sandra DePerno. But, so the other 2 guys get a lot of points today. First off, Joe Timpano, he always looks for a couple extra mentions in the speech. So Joe, The best controller in New York State, Joe Timpano. And I am often the envy of my peers around the state because of the relationship I have with all of my partners, as I said, the DA, the controller, the clerk, but also when it comes to county executives and sheriffs, I'm the envy of a lot because there's not anything that the two of us don't do together, and I'm so grateful to have a partner like Rob Macho. Sheriff, thank you. And you saw the Sheriff's Office, and they were joined in tandem with the Oneida Nation Police. I want to thank them and the entire Sheriff's Office and the Oneida Nation Police for their cooperation and for being a part of this ceremony here today. Also in the audience with me is some great partners and really great friends. First of all, Senator Joe Griffo. Senator, thank you. Joe gets double mention because he gets lumped in with the family too after, so that's a good thing. A great partner and someone I work with day in and day out, the mayor of the great city of Rome, Jackie Izzo. Where's Jackie? And someone who's kind of stepped away but is still involved and is a great friend and really family as well. Former commissioner of OGS, Roanne DeStito. Roanne. Thank you. But also, I want to thank my family, and my family's here with me today. My sisters, Kathy and Ann, who are always here for me and always have been. My cousin Nora, who is with us today as well. Cousin Joe again. Joe, you get that second mention as well. And most importantly, my in-laws could not be with us today, but I want to thank them and certainly most important person in my life, my wife Eleanor. Thank you. I have to thank Heather Hage. It is so great to have her back in our community. And if you don't know Heather, if you haven't gotten to meet her over the last year or so that she's been at the helm of Griffiths Institute, believe me, you will, and you will see amazing things coming out of there. Couldn't be more happy to have her back in our community, and thank her so much for being Mistress of Ceremonies today. Heather, you're a great friend. Thank you very much. And what can I say about Father Paul Angelico? He is, family to us, as I always say, and just so important in our lives. And in the last 2 years, with everything we've been dealing with, the weekly phone calls and checkups and everything else to see how we were doing. I can't thank you enough, Father. Thank you for your service. I want to now acknowledge our gracious hosts as we stand, as has been said, on recognized nation land. The Oneida Indian Nation is the county's steadfast partner, and we are united in our goals for this region. We have forged a new relationship since 2013 that is unlike any in the United States. We work side by side to grow this community and our economy. To borrow a sacred phrase, this partnership not only strengthens this region unto the seventh generation, it will last 7 generations and beyond because we know we are stronger together. Please join me in thanking our host and the representative and CEO of Oneida Nation Enterprises, Ray Halberter, not just for today, but for the history we have made jointly and the history we will continue to make for generations to come. This county has always been imbued with a spirit of community and togetherness. In fact, as a military conflict and humanitarian crisis rages in Ukraine, we have seen this community come together once again to help those in need. We have seen events, charities, awareness efforts throughout the county, which is home to so many Ukrainians. Today, we are joined by Oneida Nation employee Victoria Runkovich, born and raised in Ukraine, who came to Utica as a refugee with her family in 2002. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February, Victoria immediately took action. She single-handedly organized the donation drive, collecting non-perishable food items, clothing, first aid supplies, to toiletries, and other necessities for the Ukrainian War Relief Fund. Victoria's brother generously provided a tractor-trailer from his local trucking business to be stationed at the Slavic Pentecostal Church in Utica, where county residents could bring donations. Her tireless work offered everyone the opportunity to share donations and demonstrate incredible solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Victoria's work is more proof of this region, the caring and giving nature, and shows how quickly Oneida County residents came together to support those in need, not just in our community, but across the world. Victoria, would you please stand for us today? Thank you. Selflessness, compassion, hard work, and perseverance. These are the values that Victoria demonstrated, and these are the values that have been on display over the past 2 long years as we have grappled with the COVID-19 pandemic as a community. The pandemic was a challenge unlike any in recent memory. I'm proud of the work we have done as a government to lead this community through the uncertain and fearful days of March 2020 to the hope brought on by the vaccine, and now to the final stages where we strive every day to keep us on the path of normalcy. And just an aside, I forgot to mention a great partner with me in those hundreds of briefings, Victoria Stockton, who is our sign interpreter today. Thank you. The stress that this pandemic placed on county government cannot be overstated. Our health department conducted public testing, vaccinations, contact tracing, made sure protocols were being followed and the public was protected from the spread, all while contending with uneven and inconsistent directives from the state and combating inaccurate information on the internet. And it was not just them. All county departments remained open and fully functional through the pandemic. We not only stayed open, we pushed our generational projects forward. With the Nexus Center, we overcame obstacles to remain on track, and we look forward to its completion this year. The Innovari Advancement Center, as Heather mentioned, was completed and is now thriving, and soon Skydome will be as well, cementing our place as a leader in unmanned aerial vehicle research, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing in the entire country. And finally, what was once the dream of nanotechnology here in Oneida County is now a reality with the official opening of Wolfspeed in just a few short weeks. Never has the pandemic made anything clearer than the necessity of a new hospital. MVHS's Wynn Hospital will be completed next year, and with it, a new parking garage. And let me tell you something, over the past 2 weeks, I toured both the hospital and the Nexus Center. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be blown away. It's remarkable. Both of them are remarkable. And I want to thank also Darlene Stromstad is here with us today. Darlene, thank you. Please stand. Where's Rob Esch hiding? Way in the back there. Rob is here. Thank you, Rob. These projects, as has been said, are transforming Oneida County, our economy, our healthcare system, and our future. It is imperative our work, in conjunction with our partners, continue on these projects. As we enter the next phase of this pandemic, we have learned much, but we must understand other aspects of the long-term effects of COVID. We have issued an RFP to conduct an after-action report to look at what we did during COVID, to learn from what has happened, and refine our public health response to meet new challenges. We have already seen challenges, new and old, throughout our community exacerbated by the virus. We cannot pretend they do not exist. We have to rise to meet them. One of the most lasting and fundamental challenges that arose during the pandemic was the number of people who either left the workforce or decided it was time to change a career or how they work. The Great Resignation, as it has been termed, has left many employers, including this county government, struggling to fill necessary positions. We often talk about the workforce pipeline. No matter what we call it, the workforce challenge is a national crisis, and we must continue to find and pilot innovative ways to attract, retain, and where necessary, train and retrain workers with the skills and education necessary to fill the jobs that are available. The simplest way to grow your workforce is to grow your population. Over the years, Oneida County has been buoyed by immigrants and refugees. As we know, as mentioned, the terrible situation in Ukraine has created a humanitarian and refugee crisis. As we have done before, we stand ready to welcome them to our community. We know their worth and what their commitment will be to their new home. The Utica, Rome, and Syracuse regions are tied for 4th nationwide among similar metro areas in Ukrainians per 1,000 people. What this means is that while other places have larger Ukrainian populations by sheer size, there is a greater concentration here. That's why yesterday I wrote to President Biden and shared our story and assured him that our community would warmly welcome Ukrainian refugees. Today, there exists a mismatch between jobs in the area and the skills of the labor force we have available. We must address this issue comprehensively. There is a segment of our population that lacks some of the basic skills to obtain introductory positions. These are the language and life skills necessary to acquire gainful employment. Too many of our businesses have found it difficult to fill these entry-level positions, the jobs that help so much of our economy go. Hospitality workers, food service, retail, and others. We will begin an initiative to bridge this gap. Further, we immediately face shortages in 2 prime industries that perform critical functions throughout the pandemic: healthcare and supply chain management. The sustained strain of the pandemic has caused many healthcare workers, nurses, to leave the field, while the continued growth of delivery services has outstripped the number of logistics personnel, drivers, and distribution workers. That is why I've instructed my Director of Workforce Development, David Mathis, to begin a program aimed at these 2 all-important sectors. Our goal is to train 200 new healthcare workers to ensure that we have the dedicated professionals we need to serve the sick, the frail, the differently abled in this community. We will also train 100 tractor-trailer drivers so locally we can continue to have the last mile of the supply chain connected. But this is just the beginning. We will work hand in glove with our community college, led by a great partner, NVCC President Randy Van Wagner. Randy. We will work with MVCC to identify and address specific needs that have been brought to the forefront. Together, we'll create a dental hygiene training program, train limited English speakers in high-demand fields, relaunch our Math Corps, relaunch the 21-day Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Challenge, create K-12 educator professional development, offer a student career day, and build transitional housing. You got a lot to do. You got a lot to do. Our community also continues to face challenges attracting and retaining a highly educated workforce, whether it is the Air Force Research Laboratory, AIS, PAR Technology, Masonic Medical Research Institute, Indium Corporation, or now Wolfspeed. Our region's need for tech talent continues to grow, and that is a great problem to have. Key to meeting this challenge is SUNY Poly. Established in 2014, it has quickly become an essential part of our higher education and research infrastructure. As part of her State of the State, Governor Hochul proposed to strip us of this world-class research institution, and it is an insult to the students, professors, companies, and organizations that have invested in its spectacular success. I've been working with other elected officials. I want to thank Senator Griffo, who continues to work with me on this, and business and community leaders across the region to oppose this ill-conceived idea. Last week, we launched an online petition campaign urging the governor to abandon this proposal immediately. We will continue to press our case. I really can't stress and cannot tell you all how critical this situation is in this community. This is crucial to the growth of this region. We need everyone, and I mean everyone, please get engaged in this effort. This is a key to our future, and we need to keep what we have. A challenge to recruiting to areas such as ours is that while the pay scale is good and getting better, new wage earners can find better pay in bigger metropolitan areas. The incredibly high cost of student loan debt chases many new graduates to these markets just to pay their student loans. Over the years, an increasing number of private sector employers have included student loan relief as a benefit for their employers, such much akin to health insurance or 401ks. I believe that's a concept worth piloting here in Oneida County. We'll create a program that will be unlike any municipal program in the United States. We will work with our nonprofit and private sector partners to capitalize a student loan benefit program. Using our federal recovery funds and partnering with the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties, and Ms. Alicia Dix is here today, the President and CEO. Alicia, thank you. We will assist our local employers in providing student loan relief as a benefit for prospective employees. To be successful, this will require true partnerships in program design and funding. Also with the Community Foundation, we will expand a scholarship program for our local youth. The program will award scholarships to students to obtain higher education. Working with our industry partners, we will build a framework for the program. The goal is simple: attract and retain a workforce that is responsive to the needs of our community. These programs will give new tools to students who want to stay here and employers who are competing around the nation and the world, trying to fill positions here in our community right now that require 2-year, 4-year, and postgraduate degrees. COVID-19 brought into focus another hurdle to individuals entering and staying in the workforce: childcare. It continues to lack availability and costs too much for many workers. The system is broken if a person who is able and willing to work is priced out of a job because paying for daycare is too expensive or simply not available. Oneida County has taken the following steps to make daycare more affordable and accessible. We have raised the income eligibility to 200% above the poverty line. We have reduced the parent share of the cost from 25% to 1%. We will now assist providers to cover costs associated with children who are unable to get to daycare in order to preserve children's spots at the provider. A broken down vehicle or illness or other everyday issues should not force parents to lose their spot at daycare. We have expanded eligibility for subsidized daycare to include those who are job seeking, to be able to go to interviews, meet with prospective employers. Eligibility will now include higher education and vocational schools. Daycare should not be an impediment to those trying to better their situation for the long term. And lastly, we will continue to look at ways to increase affordability and availability and remove obstacles in dealing with this complex and comprehensive issue. We will create a child care task force headed by Commissioner of the Department of Family and Community Services, Colleen Fay Box, which will work with our partners and find solutions to these problems. As we navigated through the pandemic, it became clear that closed schools, isolation from friends and loved ones, and other aspects of a changed society was going to affect our most vulnerable in a variety of ways, especially our children. We will address these emergent issues. I believe the best way to start is with real information that will chart an appropriate, data-driven, programmatic response. We have worked with our school districts to issue a COVID-centric teen assessment survey, which is being administered in schools right now. This survey asks students pertinent pandemic-related questions dealing with remote learning, mental health, as well as other challenges they may have faced during this unprecedented time. We will move forward with solid information as we formulate public health, mental health, and education programs and policies for our students. We believe this survey will confirm what we have learned from other data showing evidence of lost learning and the impeded development of soft skills. We will address those issues right now. We'll work with our partners to create community reading center programs. We will expand our successful summer youth and college core programs year-round, allowing students to get that first job and better their community. This puts them together with others to learn the value of work, but also learn the soft skills the pandemic has made it difficult to develop, such as teamwork, collaboration, and communication. As we navigated through this difficult time, we know that mental health issues have been exacerbated not just for students, but for persons from all walks of life. Our Department of Mental Health will embark on a series of initiatives to address these issues. We begin by increasing behavioral health services for youth, increasing crisis counselor funding, and creating a community mental health nursing program. We will also complete a community mental health assessment. COVID also exacerbated the opiate epidemic, and we remain laser focused on that fight. Just yesterday, our overdose response team, a part of our opiate task force, met to coordinate and combat this issue. As we move forward, we will continue to collect and use actionable data through our OD mapping program. We'll work with our street outreach teams, expand our naloxone programs, including our Leave Behind program, and placement of Narcan cabinets throughout the community. We'll put drug detection devices in our jail. We'll create an overdose fatality review team to collect qualitative data and identify trends to connect the dots between the data and the individual. And we know the issues with gun crimes and bail reform continue to affect our cities and our county as a whole. You know, the New York's bail reform law is a disaster. It is not a New York City issue or problem. It is a problem for every community throughout New York State. Senator Griffo has been one of the leaders in calling for its reform. The governor and the legislature need to change it today. Meanwhile, working with great leaders such as Sheriff Maceo, District Attorney McNamara, we continue to lead this fight against crime. We created a domestic violence high-risk assessment team. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office participated with the Utica Police Department in the GIVE program that removed over 75 illegal guns last year. Sheriff deputies are assigned daily in the city of Utica in hotspots for gun violence. We will continue to fight crime on all fronts. In our Emergency Services Department, we are adding a nurse navigator program. Highlighted during COVID, this has become a problem. 911 calls and corresponding emergency room visits have been unnecessary. This program will direct calls that do not rise to the level of a true emergency to a nurse who can help the caller immediately so as to avoid preventable services and response calls and emergency room visits. One issue we have seen as more and more people, including our seniors, stayed home, was the increasing impact of the digital divide. Many had to switch to online working, medicine, banking, taxes, grocery and retail shopping, job searching, and food delivery more than ever before. Many small businesses struggled to get their goods and payment options online. We had the first-hand experience managing that divide as we administered our Boost Oneida County program that issued gift cards to over 30,000 county residents. We found many residents and small businesses lacked the knowledge or technology to access and navigate the program. To address this, we will work with our libraries to create a program that will close that gap. People and businesses' ability to learn and properly use technology that is becoming necessary for everyday life is important. We need to make sure that this gap closes quickly. Digital literacy is critical, and I can't think of a better partner to help us do that than our exceptional library system. We continue to focus on agriculture, Oneida County's #1 industry. With our partners at Cornell Cooperative Extension, we will continue growing our upstate, downstate agricultural partnership. The Upstate New York Growers and Packers Produce Co-op will expand this program with a new produce processing facility in the town of Kirkland. We know a top-notch healthcare system is essential, as I've said at the beginning. We're all excited for MVHS and what the Wynn Hospital is bringing to our region. I want to also once again acknowledge the CEOs, first of MVHS, and we're joined also by the CEO of Rome Health, Darlene Stromstead and Anne-Marie Walker says, for their valued partnership. Ladies, thank you very much. And while, we dealt with this pandemic for the last 2 years in so many uncertain terms, and people would ask how we were dealing with it, these two individuals had to deal with so much, and so I thank them. And I also want to thank, and I think it's important for us to recognize all of our healthcare workers who have labored tirelessly throughout this pandemic. They deserve our respect. Thank you. They deserve our respect and admiration for their ceaseless efforts. So we are excited to see what's happening in MVHS. We're also excited to see what our health system in Rome is accomplishing as they are in the midst of an essential $13 million expansion project. Rome Health already boasts a tremendous reputation in its maternity services. Oneida County is committed to assisting Rome Health in delivering the highest quality of care, and that is why I'm announcing that we are contributing $3 million to a women's maternity surgical center in Rome. This center will enhance the hospital's ability to manage complex and high-risk pregnancies. The investment of federal recovery funds will help that project elevate to new heights. We are moving forward. We know our infrastructure is key to surviving through a pandemic, growing our community, creating economic development, and preparing for the future. Infrastructure projects can be problematic. They're expensive and complicated. However, to let crucial infrastructure become dilapidated or fall into disrepair because of those hurdles is wrong. I have always believed in these investments, and where we have made them, they led to significant development. Just one example to highlight this vital point. Our work on sewers and water has been a boon to every economic development initiative in the past 15 years. If we did not make that investment, had I just said, we can't do it, it's too expensive, there would be no Wolf's Feet, no new hospital, no new housing. What we know is that we need to invest in infrastructure that is no less critical for our future success than sewer, water, roads, or bridges. Next up is broadband. With our partners, Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, Herkimer County, and the Tug Hill Commission, we completed an inventory of the broadband infrastructure across our two counties. We now have a working understanding of what this community needs and where it needs broadband. The study identifies approximately $20 million worth of projects to bring this important infrastructure need to communities just in Oneida County alone. We will create a broadband local development corporation. and stand up the program that allows for public-private partnerships between towns, the county, and internet service providers, and eventually the state of New York, to do this essential work. I want to be clear and unequivocal. This will be a long process. It will take 5 to 10 years to bring this service to everyone who needs it. Of course, as with so many issues that we mentioned, the state has actually created a barrier to this progress. It is imperative that the state of New York ends the outrageous fiber optic installation fee that charges companies $20,000 every mile they cross a state road to run broadband. It's absurd, and it needs to end now so that we can start this work. I look forward to laying the program out in further detail in the coming weeks. American Rescue money can and will be used for broadband. Local municipalities, you need this infrastructure. You have your own Rescue Act funding. Partner with us, and let's get this done. We also know that electric vehicles are no longer the wave of the future. They are here today. We have a great partner in Wolfspeed who is a leader in EV technology. I said last year we would complete a plan to address the infrastructure and the first phase of that work, and it is done. Next, we'll introduce an EV dashboard that will show the public exactly where charging stations are and update in real time, our progress of placing chargers where they need to be. The market has spoken on electric vehicles. Since 2015, the amount of electric vehicles in Oneida and Herkimer counties has increased 6-fold. As the technology is perfected and the infrastructure is built out to support them, that number will skyrocket. I won't let Oneida County fall behind in this critical infrastructure. We are committed to increasing EV chargers in our own projects. The new parking garage will have 67 EV charging stations with the ability to expand to nearly 300. When we talk about infrastructure and preparing for the future, we have to discuss economic development and the preparation of potential development sites. I want to thank Mohawk Valley Edge, its chairman Rocco Arcuri is with us today, and the entire board for their work in working with us. It's known, our next mega-sized development site is called the Triangle, and it is a 250 acres site located in the heart of the Griffiths International Airport in Rome. We have begun the process of getting all approvals from the FAA while simultaneously conducting the preliminary engineering work necessary to make this site available. Second, we have to address sites located throughout the county that are brownfield or industrial and need to be recycled and prepared for development. We will identify locations that fit this criteria and assess them to understand fully the needs required in the preliminary work that needs to be done to prepare them for private development. I refuse to let what happened at Charlestown Mall in Utica happen again. It had fallen into such disrepair and it became dangerous. There is no scenario where a building of that size should be allowed to become a location for squatters and a hazard that resulted in multiple fires. Over the past 2 years, we saw other government offices closed for months and months at a time during the pandemic. We saw many functions of government become automated or remote. We must always be accountable to the taxpayer. As I've said before, we have too many layers of government doing too little for too few and charging way too much to do it. You guys knew that was going to be there somewhere, right? We need a comprehensive approach to consolidation, tax reduction, and services. We also need to be bold and open to every possibility. We need to act now, but we also need to prepare for the future. Let's try something. And I've been down this road many times before. I'm talking about true government consolidation, not a shared service or a nibble on the edges. For any municipality who successfully achieves consolidation with corresponding savings, we will pay them twice the amount saved. That's a challenge. I'm also directing my Commissioner of Planning, James Genovese, to look at the tax structure on all levels of government. Let me ask you something. Why does a $400,000 home outside of Atlanta have a tax burden of $2,400 a year? Yet, a $185,000 home in Oneida County has a tax burden of $6,000 a year. We're clearly missing something. When complete, this community and its school and municipal governments will have a roadmap to better serve our residents and save the taxpayers money. Real money, real substantial dollars. It'll be up to them to take the hard road, but we will create the path and share it with all of our residents. As we move out of COVID as an emergency, we know the one thing we need to do for our economy and our business is to bring people back to our communities to enjoy all that we have to offer. We launched our Main Street program last year, and I'm pleased to say that we are moving forward. By redesigning main streets, we make them attractive to visitors, businesses, and residents, and they make them safer. This program will provide 12 municipalities with reinvigorated main streets. They will end the planning phase this year with a punch list that will strengthen the signature projects for their community. More importantly, we have incentivized these plans with capital dollars turning conception into reality with breakneck speed. One participant, as mentioned before by our host, is Sylvan Beach. The village is investing in its Main Street in order to fully capitalize on the Oneida Indian Nation's massive investment on the waterfront, including the lake house and the cove. I applaud Sylvan Beach and the other 11 municipalities that have chosen to participate, and once again, I invite others who haven't to do so. Over the past few years in Rome, we have seen and experienced significant investment in new housing stock at Woodhaven and Air City Lofts to meet the demands of growing opportunities at the Griffiths Business and Technology Park. To serve this growing community, we are committed financially to the creation of a new YMCA in Woodhaven near Griffiths. Oneida County is proud to partner, and I'm proud to stand with the mayor and announce a commitment of $2 million to that project. To see the project in progress in Rome with Air City Lofts, the Innovari Advancement Center, Skydome, the new MVCC campus, and other new housing developments has been exciting, and Oneida County is proud to spearhead those important investments while working side by side with my great friend and partner, Mayor Izzo. Mayor, thank you. Speaking of the mayor, the sky is the limit when you have strong partners who are honest brokers and have a shared commitment to moving this county forward. And Mayor, I thank you. We know that companies come where executives want to be, and that's why we will launch a program aimed at C-suite business marketing. We are going to highlight our community during our biggest events, such as the Boilermaker, to the most important company executives. In order to understand why we are such a good fit for a company, we want them to see and experience the best we have to offer. And when it comes to marketing this entire region and community to the world, it's time to create a signature event that highlights what Oneida County is and does. We'll partner with two people that you heard from today, Heather Hage of the Griffiths Institute, Ray Halberter, the Oneida Indian Nation, and others to build our own regional signature event. We have that varied cross-section of people, economy, and entertainment to do this in a real way that allows more people to see what we all know, that this is the best and most unique place in America to invest, live, and visit. To be known as All Roads Fest, it will be a curated exhibition for guests to experience the food, entertainment, sports, and technology that define our extraordinary lives in the Mohawk Valley. Tasting rooms, interactive displays, guest lectures, technology demos, competitions, performances, and startup showcases will span 3 days in July of 2023. We're excited about the progress of our expansion of the REA wing at Union Station and the creation of a food emporium, which we believe can be a tourism draw that captures people off of the thruway to visit this unique regional asset. We have contracted with Mass Group, a nonprofit global architectural firm, to work with us and stakeholders to begin the visioning and conceptual design and planning work to move this idea forward. The movement on the REA wing and the building of Nexus has inspired me to look at the U District differently. You remember that. Obviously, we have seen great success with the OD, and we know it'll only get better. But really, it encompasses all of Bagg Square. And we need to think of it in those terms. Today, I'm proposing a U District Redevelopment Corporation to streamline, direct, and facilitate public and private investment into this area. This district, focused on sports, arts, entertainment, and tech, will be bookended by two signature investments: the redevelopment of the county-owned Inside House property on one end and the creation of the REA Wing Food Emporium on the other. Meanwhile, inside the district is the OD, back in action, and the Nexus Center, which is scheduled to open in November. But to truly realize the potential of the U District, we need to move the rest of the area forward. The county will, through this district, spur public and private investment. I see the potential in this area. We have to make the vital connections between these signature county-owned assets and the rest of the neighborhood. One of the first projects we will address is the safety, lighting, parking, and landscaping issues around the Nexus Center. This gleaming one-of-a-kind facility, which is already booked through March of 2023, is currently fronted by an urban hellscape. Partly the result of neglect, this area is currently situated would be a disaster for visitors. That's unacceptable. We will continue the county's investment and commitment to Nexus and the district by providing these vital amenities and safety measures. But I can't do this alone. Fortunately, we have great talent we can all call upon. And I have just the four people in mind to help the redevelopment district move forward with vision and purpose and to help Oneida County grow. Rob Esch, president of Mohawk Valley Garden; Munson William Proctor Institute, president and CEO, Anna D'Ambrosio; Savneet Singh, president and CEO of PAR Technology; and, of course, our host today, Ray Halberter. I can't think of four people who are more committed to our community or have a better expertise on entertainment, sports, arts, and development, and I want to thank them all for agreeing to participate. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Rob. Almost done. Today, we have laid out an aggressive post-COVID agenda, one that deals with our immediate needs while looking to the long-term future and sustainability of this community. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Oneida County is strong. Our financial condition is solid as our restrictions throughout the pandemic and the rebound of the economy has returned our reserves to levels that equal those prior to the onset of COVID. Gathering us, you can applaud that. That's a great thing. It also gave Controller Joe Timpano a sigh of relief that the money's coming back in. So. But moving forward, as we outlined today, the projects, we will utilize the American Rescue funding in measured and impactful projects, understanding clearly that this one-time stream of funding cannot, and more importantly, should not be used as carrots to curry favor with the electorate. Now, I have given this address 15 times, and while each had different initiatives, they all had the same goal: to make our county, to make our home, a better place, to move us forward, to be bold even when the odds were against us, to build what some said could never be built, to resolve long-standing issues that some said could never be resolved, and most importantly, to make it clear that whatever we do is a benefit to all and not just one area or people. None of it was easy, and I did stumble a few times, but I learned from my mistakes and vowed not to let them happen again or deter me. Once again, I see us at a crossroad. Crossroad, however, of a different type. While signature projects are moving forward, our momentum needs to continue. The pieces that we have in place are not the end of our story, but rather the beginning. We have just experienced 2 years of uncertainty and confusion from a pandemic that took lives and stalled our economy and our way of life, and in many ways divided our country. What we were able to accomplish through all of this makes our next steps even more significant and challenging. We must keep moving forward. Not since 1950 has this community been more poised and positioned for growth of such immense proportions. Yet some, through ignorance or obstinance, still seek to block progress for reasons beyond logic. Which is why we need to continue to be bold in our vision, aggressive in our movement, and cast aside negativity from those who resist change. George Bernard Shaw said, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." I learned a very long time ago that leadership is about taking responsibility and not making excuses. I take the responsibility for this government, and with it, the commitment to work with anyone and everyone who shares the goal of a better Oneida County. I've always believed that partnerships move us forward. To all of our partners here today, and it is why, first of all, it is why we are in this very room today, because of partnerships. To all of our partners, thank you for your leadership and conviction. It's what making us grow, and there is much, much more to do. Let's do it together. God bless you, God bless Oneida County, and God bless the United States. Thank you.